the beginning of the week, I had nowhere to go, and by the ending of the week, I had a beautiful apartment in a beautiful neighborhood, and all that I could have ever imagined, God gave it to me. In this video, I am going to be giving you guys the testimony about how God gave me an apartment when I couldn't afford it. So guys, this happened a few years ago, and at this point I was still in university. I was living in a student accommodation and they wanted me to leave, or I didn't have anywhere to go and I didn't have any money to get me a good place at that point in time. Okay, so I was just running about and I decided to pray about it. So I prayed to God. I asked God to help me get a place to move into. So there was this other college, mind you, I do not attend that college, but there was this other college that has, you know, a hostel, and I was thinking maybe I should go to them and ask them if they could let me live in their hostel, maybe give me a room there. From there I'll be going to my school. That was my plan in my head, all right, because I didn't afford an apartment, and even if I could get an apartment, I needed a roommate. Everybody that I know at that point in time either do not need a housemate or already have one. So at this point, I was just believing God for a miracle. And also at this point in time, the people that they also gave this quick notice to, they all had gotten places where they would stay. Some of them had gotten apartments and they wanted to stay alone. Some of them had already gotten roommates, and I was just there like, God, am I gonna live in the streets? But God, being so faithful, he had better plans for me. One day I decided to go to that college, that place I wanted to go, and ask them to see if they can rent a room for me in their hostel. I wanted to go there and talk to their dean. So I got dressed and I decided to take a walk because it was summertime. Anyway, I met a very good friend of mine, but we lost contact. It's been years since we even spoke, but we're good friends, all right? So I met her on the road. Let's call her Sharon for the sake of this video. So I met Sharon on the road and I greeted her. We exchanged pleasantries and we went our separate towards the college where I was going, and she went her way. I didn't tell her what I was going for. So I got to that college, asked to speak to their dean, but they said the dean was out of office at that point in time, that he had gone on holiday, that I should come back ending of the month. You guys, ending of the month was so close to the time that I'd been given to leave my hostel. So I was like, well, what else can I do? I just went home feeling sad. So the following day, I woke up in the morning. I also prayed to God like I always do, asking him for an accommodation. I also remember praying and asking God to, you know, if at all I get an apartment that is cheap for me to afford, that I would need a roommate. And please, whoever this roommate would be, let it be someone I can live with, let it be someone I can coexist with, because I've had roommate problems in the past, and if you know me, I do not like drama. So I had to pray and like, God, please let me just get someone that, you know, I can coexist with and just help me. So after my prayer, I went to the bathroom to take a shower. So while I was having my shower, I heard the Spirit of God say to me, call Sharon. You guys remember Sharon, right? The girl I met yesterday. Yes. So the Spirit of God said, call Sharon. Then I was like, why am I calling Sharon? Like, why should I call her? What does she have to do with this? But I felt, okay, maybe he wanted me to call her and ask her if she has plans of moving out of her own hostel so that we could move out together. So I finished taking my bath, went back to my room, and I dialed Sharon's number, and she picked up, and I was like, hi Sharon, look at what happened. I've been asked to leave my hostel. Not just me really, everyone else. I know that you live in this other hostel. Do you have plans of moving out anytime soon? Can we move together? Can we just do this together? Sharon told me that actually That time when I saw her yesterday, she had just finished packing her things into her new house. That street that we met actually is her new street, that she just moved into a new place, a new apartment. And I was like, okay, wow. So how many rooms do you have in your apartment? Can somebody live with you? And then she says it's a 1-room apartment with a parlor, a kitchen, and a bathroom. But she can talk to her landlady to see if I can move into the parlor. So I was like, please do. All right. So she calls the landlady, and the landlady agreed to meet with me that day. So I rushed down to that street. You guys, this street is the place, like it's the street that is known to be most expensive in that city. So I got to that apartment. It was very beautiful, more than I could have ever imagined. But I didn't want to get my hopes high. I wanted to meet the landlady first. So not too long after I arrived, the landlady came with her daughter, and I told her what I wanted, that I do not mind staying in the parlor and sharing the apartment with my friend. This woman agreed, even though her daughter was there telling her, no, this house is meant for just one person, you shouldn't let somebody else move in. But the woman just had peace and wanted me to actually live there. So the woman agreed for me to move in. Even though the woman increased the rent a little bit, because now we are two, she agreed for me to move in right away without paying a dime. This is because my friend had already paid like 2 months rent prior to me coming. All right, so even though there's been an increment, it was still enough. It still covered like the first month and almost the second month, so there was no issue. She didn't have any issue with that, and my friend was so understanding. She told me to just move in and take my time. When I get the money, I can now balance her. You guys, that was how I moved into this beautiful apartment. You guys, the sitting room or parlor as we call it here, that ended up being my room, was so big and beautiful. It had this green and white wallpaper. Because this was a parlor, there was no bed and there was no wardrobe, and the landlady was like, you will have to sort yourself out, because she does not want to invest in buying a bed and a wardrobe when after we live in the house and move out, the house will go back to being just a 1-bedroom and sitting room. So she didn't want to make that investment because it wasn't going to profit her. So she told me to sort myself out, and God being so kind, I had a friend at the time who bought me a wardrobe, and someone else bought me a bed. That was how God sorted me out, and I moved in literally that week. At the beginning of the week, I had nowhere to go, and by the ending of the week, I had a beautiful apartment in a beautiful neighborhood, and all that I could have ever imagined, God gave it to me. And this my friend that I ended up moving in with ended up being just the perfect housemate I could have ever asked for. You guys, like, she was just heaven sent. Obviously, we lived in peace and harmony. We understood each other. Really enjoyed being her housemate. I was so thankful, and I still am thankful to God for his provision. I moved out of that apartment when I graduated medical school and then moved back to my home country, Nigeria. So guys, that's all for this story time, actually testimony time video. Thank you guys for watching. Drop a comment in the comment section if you have anything to say. Be sure to thumbs up this video if you enjoy this, and if you would like me to give more story time content on here, because the Lord has been so good to your girl. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.